Hello everyone. This is a 3-year sales forecasting Google Sheets template which I created recently. So I'm gonna walk you through it and show you what basically you can do with it. So the first thing you're looking at here is the sales forecast dashboard, and here you've got basically a summary of the 3 years that you're gonna be forecasting. So you've got the total units sold here, total revenue, total gross profit, average margin, the average unit price, the average COGS, and the average growth rate. So everything here gets calculated for you automatically. If you try to make a change here, you're gonna see a warning. For example, if I try to delete something or press a key by mistake, you're gonna see this warning here. It says heads up, basically that you're trying to edit part of this sheet that shouldn't be changed accidentally. So this is basically for your own good, so that you don't delete a formula by mistake. But if your intention is to actually modify and make changes, then of course you can click OK, and you can also check that box that says don't show this again for 5 minutes, otherwise it can get annoying. Having said that, I created it in a way where I'm only trying to protect the formulas and not the sections that you're supposed to make changes to. So in other words, if you're making a change and you're not seeing this means you are basically making a change in the right cells. Otherwise you're going to see this. The danger of this sometimes is that if you're making a change where there's a formula and then you check this box, click OK, and for like the next 5 minutes you might forget that you're still it's still not gonna warn you if you go and accidentally delete another formula. So just be careful with that. Okay, having said that, so the other things here on the sales forecast dashboard is the 4 charts that you see. So that's basically again a visual representation of the 3 years, mainly the units sold per product. And you can add as many products as you like. I'll walk you through that in a moment. But for now, we're just picking 3 products. Then you can look at the sales revenue of those products over the 3 years sales forecast, the growth rate also for the same period, and the gross profit. So that's basically in a nutshell how you would use this one. Now let's get into a little bit more detail and show you how to actually work with it. So we've got here year 1, year 2, year 3, and that's basically where you input your data. So I'm just gonna make this slightly bigger. By the way, you do see so you can start by typing the company name. So let's say it's my company. Oops. And what happens when you do that, it changes everything automatically on the year 2 sheets and year 3 sheets. Same applies to the logo. So if you simply add a new logo here, so you do that by you delete this one and you go insert, then image, insert an image in the cell, and then once you insert the logo here of your company, of your business, then you don't have to do it on the other worksheets. Also, with regards to the sales forecast start date, so you start by actually double clicking that so that you get this calendar here, and then you select any date that you want. So I want to show you something really cool. So right now it's 1st of January 2022, so you see it starts January 2022. But if I go and change that to February, okay, notice how everything changes. So now it starts in February, so you've got March all the way to January 2023. Also, if you go to the second year, now it's going to pick up from February 2023 all the way to January 2024, and in year 3 it's going to pick up from February 2024 all the way to January 2025. So, and on the other sheets, you can't change that. That's protected by formula, so you don't have to worry about. This is just here to remind you basically when the sales forecast start date is that you selected. So you simply select it here once, and everything is updated automatically for you everywhere. So that's one. Now, just want to make this slightly bigger so we can see it a little bit more clearly. Okay, so the way this works, so you've got in year one, you've got the units sold of any product or service that you want, unit price, sales growth rate, the sales revenue, the unit COGS, the margin per unit, and the gross profit. So these are the main metrics that you'll be kind of using with this Google Sheet template. Now, of course, you're probably going to have more than just the 3 products. And to accommodate that, what I've done is, you see here, you can unhide basically these rows. So say, for example, you've got 20 or 30. I think I added up to 50 because I don't think you're going to need more. You can always add more, but it's preferable to just always check if you end up adding rows. I suggest you don't add rows just in case it breaks anything in the Google Sheet. It might not. So if you end up, having to go over 50 product or service, then just watch out, whether anything has broken in the Google Sheet template, and just realize that it could be because you added a row. Although I don't think it should happen, but just bear in mind, if you do add a row, add in between them. So you don't add anything like after, for example, row 58 or before 57 if you're trying to add anything for the units sold. So you would simply add the row inside that sort of group, but then you'll have to do it everywhere else. So it's kind of a mission to do that, and that's why I opted for this hide or show function that we've got, the feature that we have in Google Sheets. So all you have to do basically, if you have more, and here you can see it's the first product, the second product, and the last one. So if I unhide by doing that, again, you're going to see this. This is where you probably want to check this box. Just make sure don't overwrite any formulas when you do that. Okay, so when we click OK, so now you see you've got basically lots of room to add anything that you want here. And also regarding the sort of like the product, service, or name. So just let's make this slightly bigger. So all you have to do here is name it once. So let's call it product A, and this is, let's say, service B. Okay, so you only actually have to change it here on this in this area here, and then the Google Sheet will update it everywhere else automatically for you. So you can see here it's already product A, service B. Everywhere else it's gonna be automatically updated for you, so you don't have to do anything else. You just add them at the beginning once, and then the Google Sheet will update everywhere else. So this is as far as like updating the names here. Here you would simply just add data that you want, so I'm just gonna go like this. Okay, so you've updated here, and again it's gonna reflect everywhere else, and I'll cover that in a moment. Now, because I've done it in a certain way, just to show you, I'm gonna undo that action, but that's the gist of it. Basically, is that you would simply add the numbers that you want here corresponding to the month, and as you're adding this information onto each basically year, so whether you're adding the units sold, price, all the the sales forecasting that you're doing. So once that's done, it's gonna give you. You can always check the totals here at the bottom right of each section, but I made it even easier for you. So you just look here at the top. So that's a summary of this particular year. While this one here in the sales forecast dashboard is for all 3 years. So this is adding everything together, and this is just for that year 1. Okay, so once you've populated that, just hide anything that is blank, just to make it easier for you to work with. So you would hide that. Okay, and then you would go and do the same thing, on the other sections. So we can hide that. So that's basically how you would use this. You would simply look for these to hide, unhide, and then you simply just hide anything else that's not that's blank, basically. And then you're gonna end up with this. Let's assume that you also have 3 products or services. It's gonna look like this. So now you know what you need to do if you want to add more. You simply use that. Try to avoid, like we said, adding rows yourself, because it might corrupt the formulas in the Google Sheet. So you would do this for year 1, and then you would move and do the same thing for year 2. Again, there are basically sections that are protected by formula. So if you by mistake try to, I don't know if it's been 5 minutes since we checked that box here. So let's try to, okay, it's not 5 minutes. You see now it actually deleted it because it hasn't been 5 minutes yet. But if I had not checked that box, and then it would have showed me the warning here, because those are formulas, and you don't want, of course, to delete them. If you delete by mistake, it's very easy in Google Sheet. You could just undo. You can even go to version history and restore from history, if you kind of like made that mistake. But that's why I suggest you don't actually check that box unless you really have to. And if you do, maybe wait after 5 minutes and then come back. This way, it will be much easier to work with. But yeah, nonetheless, so you would do the updates here, and everything gets calculated for you automatically. So all the total units sold for that year, the average unit price for that year, the average growth rate, the total revenue, the average COGS, the average margin, and the total gross profit. So once you've updated all that, so you kind of like finish working, doing the 3-year sales forecasting, what you can do then is you can go to the year-to-year comparison worksheet. And what this will do basically is exactly as it says. So it's just going to compare for you, the year 2 versus year 1, and year 3 versus year 2, as far as units sold, unit price, sales growth rate, sales revenue, unit COGS, margin per unit, and gross profit. And again, remember that if you had opened or added sort of like added more products there. So let's say you have 10. Then what you would do here, you would unhide, for example, here those sections, and then you find because obviously you're going to have the data here, and then you just hide anything that is blank. So that's how you'd basically use that. So you unhide until you find the data that you want, then you hide everything that is blank, and then you repeat the same thing for all the other sections that you're dealing with. And this way it stays sort of like easy to look at as well. Then what this Google Sheet template also allows you to do is to look at the charts for each year. So for example, if you go to the charts year 1, so basically here what we're looking at the units sold year 1 in a chart format. The sales revenue year 1 also in a chart format, growth rate year 1, and gross profit year 1. Again here, so as you add more products or services, obviously it's going to add here more, and that's why I decided to kind of give them their own worksheet, because if you have like 50 products, then it's going to look very busy otherwise if you try to like put it on the same, let's say, worksheet as this one. It's not going to look pretty, and it's not going to actually be that useful to look at. While here, if you do end up adding a lot more, you can simply add more columns to the right and just make these bigger. It's very simple, basically, to solve that problem. So you would go like, you right click, insert column to the right. Let's say you add another 10, 20, and then you can make this chart as big as you want. Let's say if you've got like 50 or 60 or 100 products and services you want to look at. Other than that, it's gonna again, it will do everything automatically for you, unless you have added more rows yourself. If you did, then you're gonna have to sort of check that the data range is correct. So if you end up, and if you do that, that means you're quite advanced with Google Sheets and you know exactly what you're doing. So you would simply come here and just make sure that you are selecting the correct data range in that case. But if you do it like like I just showed you, and you just use the unhide and hide for the rows, then you shouldn't worry about anything, because it's all kind of factored in already here. Yeah, and the same basically applies to year 2 and year 3. So in a nutshell, you've got the tabular sort of data here, and then you've got the year-to-year comparison, and then you have the charts, and then at the end you have the dashboard. It just gives you like an overview of everything over the last for the next 3 years, let's say, or any 3-year period that you're doing the sales forecast for. So it's very simple to use, very straightforward. So I hope you like it. If you have any questions, let me know. This Google Sheet template will be or is available for sale at jellysheets.com, which is basically a marketplace for Google Sheets templates. There's going to be a link in the description below, so you can click on that and it will take you directly to that template should you wish to buy it. Okay, thanks for your time and have a good day.